see. Let's see. Hello, hello. I'm gonna wait for at least one person to show up. Oh, there's one person. Hello, one person. Who are you? What's your name? No, what's your name? I can get it right behind my camera. It'd be so blinding. Who's there? And if you're there, let me know if you can hear me. I was having sound issues. Let's see. Hello, all. If you're watching this and it's not live, so the recorded version of this, which it is live right now, I guarantee. But if you didn't join me live and you're watching it right now, yeah, I can hear you, Chris Herndon. Hey man, glad I could get it. Awesome. Chris, it's not like feeding back or anything like that, or like echoing. It was a minute ago. I hope it's not now. I hope it's just a one clear voice. That would be awesome. If it is, let me know. Thanks for being here. And if you're watching this again, not live, thanks for checking it out. We can get this down here. Boom. All right, we'll get going in a second. Got 2 people in there. I got a pile of stuff that I'm going to be working with and showing and sharing. Sounds good. All right, thanks, Chris. Excuse me. Grab a drink. Man, come on. Cat hair. All right. So, let's see. We got 2 people in here. Whoever the second person is, hello. If you wish to say hello, I will acknowledge you. Thanks for tuning in. I can never get my glasses clean. So today I'm going to be looking at, I'll probably say this a couple times, but today I'm going to be looking at or working on some resin cast 3 3/4 scale rifles for my custom Nik Sant Star Wars figure. You can see him here. There's a pile of him. I'll definitely give you guys a closer look. But for those who don't know what this project is that I'm working on, I worked on the last live stream that I did. I made this mold, this 2-part. See if I can give you guys a little more. Who needs this controller? Not me. I made this 2-part. It's called referred to as a slap mold, which was brought to my attention by my buddy, what's shaking, Left Coast Graphics, my buddy Jason from Plastic Geek. I was picking his brain about how best to make a what you call your silicone mold for something so small as this Kenner. Some light over here. This Kenner. This is the 1995 version of the Endor Commando. That's the 95 version of his gun. Slightly modified and made the strap a little shorter so it could fit in the package. But anyway, flat mold, which is what I made on the last live stream. I hope I'm probably talking to the mic. I feel like Howard Stern. What that means is that the silicone mold, you're going to fill it with resin, right? Which is this stuff. I mean, liquid version of this. Fill it, and then it's okay if I call him Nik Sant, right? Yep, because it's Nik Sant. So anyway, fill it with resin, and then slap the top over it real quick and like press it down. And since I don't have a pressure pot, which would do away with all the bubbles, that slap action would hopefully shoot the air out of the vents that I created here. You can see all these lines here. Where's my let's use this guy. So you can see all these lines here. That's where the air, ideally you want the air to escape through those lines, which I made. And again, if you want to see how I made this mold, check out my previous live stream. Tonight I'm just dealing with the resin and also answering any questions you guys have. So please shoot me some questions. But anyway, slap the top of the mold down, air goes out, and you're left with hopefully the resin here, resin cast, and it's surrounded by flash, and I'm going to be taking that flash off tonight. But there is a replica of the gun that was made. And shout out to my buddy, my good friend, Dan Polydorus at Death by Toys. He resin cast these guys for me because his resin was better than mine. Something went wrong with my resin. It was coming out of the mold very gummy and not cured all the way, which I have an example of that right here. So I used that same resin that I had to make this is one of my Egum, the Everyday Robots, robot minifigures. And I used that bad resin that I had. I don't know if you can tell how many holes are in there. You can see it looks like it has a texture to it. Those are holes, air bubbles, almost like the Swissiest Swiss cheese you've ever had. So I didn't want these guns to be like that. Yeah, you can see it better on the back, I think, just the amount of holes that are in it. So I'm gonna have to do away with that resin. Speaking of Dan Polydorus at Death by Toys, he had a show last night. He had a show, and I'll share this stuff, and then we'll get into the actual work. Sorry, I'm choking on something. But he had a toy show at Toy du Jour here in Chicago last night, and the first like 10 people there got these. He saved one for me because we're good friends. I do some work for him. You can check him out. So I got these glasses. Everything he does is a joke. It's like tongue-in-cheek stuff. And these were like a giveaway party favor for the first 10. They're like glasses with screws in them, so that you can poke your eyes out because the joke is that his stuff is so bad. It's pretty funny. What else did I get? I got this the retro Marvel Legends, right? I finally got one of my buddies found a Wolverine. Shout out to Derek Bracken over on Instagram. Check him out. He's got some great stuff that he's making as well. But I don't get cool toys for some reason in Chicago. Our Targets suck so bad. Walmart doesn't have anything. So he found these on clearance for like $3. And I love how small and chunky he is, as he should be. That's how, yeah, man, these retros are so good. I have a handful of collection. I have like Daredevil Cap, Moon Knight, Spider-Man stuff. I think I got a couple Hulks and Thing, whatever. But this is a really cool figure because it's so to scale. You know, I wish I had another one here to show you. I don't think I do, the scale of it, but it's perfect for the line and the scale of the line. Really cool. And I'm not even that big of a Wolverine fan. And then the last thing I think I'll show you that before I get going on this stuff, at Toy du Jour for Dan's toy show last night, and I should have showed you these before Wolverine, but I'm a big retro vintage toy collector, and Toy du Jour has the greatest selection of, Charlie, what's up? Toy du Jour has the greatest selection of vintage toys. It's a vintage toy shop. And I grabbed some of these 1978, 80, 81, 79, 80, 81, Peyo Smurfs, the little PVC figures. Look at those. Look how awesome those are. I had these 3 when I was a kid, so it's cool to have them back. They were like $5 a piece. So cool. So I got those last night at Toy du Jour, at the toy show. And I also grabbed a couple California Raisins. Who didn't have these? If you grew up in the 80s, you had some, I think they were from Hardee's or Arby's, California Raisins. So cool to have these back in my collection. And the coolest thing about these and the Smurfs is that they made so many different ones that, you could be collecting these forever. I don't know, there's so many of them. Yeah, if there's a closer look, Charlie, on that Wolverine, it's really cool. All right, so what I'm going to be doing now, let's get these over here. There's the mold that I was telling you about that I made, okay, that these guys, this whole pile came out of. And the end game, I'm going to show you guys, the end game on this project is this guy. You ready? This is too cool for school. The end game is one of these. So I sculpted the beard and the details on him. I painted him up and packaged him up with the help of my friend Dan from Death by Toys again. He printed these out for me, and this is a nice carded figure. It's got my sticker on the back. I'm going to be selling these. I'm only going to have a handful of them. Probably, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I might have 8. I might have 7. There's a couple that I want to send to certain people, and I'll be sending. I'll probably have 6 of these for sale, and I'll tell you who's getting the other ones. Well, I don't know if I should reveal that yet. A couple of very special people in the toy community that are friends of mine are going to get. I'm giving away 2 of them. I'll announce those later. The rest of them will be for sale on my Instagram page. But before they're on sale on Instagram, they will be for sale on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/actoydesign. My Patreon is going to get first dibs on these, and they will also be at a discounted price on my Patreon. So the Patreon's awesome. It's got all my behind the scenes stuff. It's an awesome community. Charlie there is a member. Thank you, Charlie, and a good friend. Yeah, it's just awesome. We do a weekly bi-weekly podcast called You Like Toys. It's a Q&A with the community there, and we're about to hit episode 100. 100 episodes of my podcast is on Patreon, and then also all my behind the scenes sticker packs, commissions. I do my commissions on Patreon. But yeah, these will be for sale on my Patreon first, and then Instagram if there's any left. So that's the end game of what we're working on tonight. And what else? So again, I'll leave this resin cast out over here so you guys can see that. There's one of the finished guns. I'll leave that right on top so you can see that. And there's the original. Leave that there. What I need to do this is my X-Acto knife, which is on the table over there. So I'm going to stand up real quick. It'll take me 10 seconds to get back with my X-Acto knife. Hold on. Hold on. Keep holding. All right, I'm back. Less than 10 seconds. All right. So here is what's happening. So I got my X-Acto knife. Okay, be very careful with these guys. They're sharp. I should probably change out the blade. Maybe I'll do that for you guys right now, in case you've never seen that. It's very simple. I've also got my plastic snips. If you have a set of plastic snips, which I absolutely recommend getting, only use them for plastic. Do not cut metal with them, or you'll ruin the blade. So maybe have like a separate set for metal or whatever else, rocks, whatever you like cutting, and then have a set just for plastic. Okay. I have over here. In my possession brand new blades for my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to switch it out real quick. Things are so sharp. I mean, like, see here, they're so sharp. For some reason, these two don't want to separate. It's weird. There we go. There's some kind of like oil on them, so sometimes they don't like to separate. Make sure you don't drop one. If you do, make sure you find it, especially if you have pets. All right. So if you got one of these, just twist at the top where the grip is. Twist it, take it out. Pop the new one in. It's got a little like cross. You guys know how to do this, right? Stick that in, tighten it up, and we're ready to go. It's razor sharp, literally. I mean, that's why it's a razor. It is a razor. All right, the old one. We will get rid of it by wrapping it in paper. Paper. Wrap 1, wrap 2, wrap 3, wrap 4. Don't cut yourself. And then immediately in the garbage. All right, so Nik Sant, scooped. Weapons over here. All right, so while I'm doing this, it might get monotonous, but I got to do it. Thought I'd do a live stream, talk to you guys, answer some questions. So if you got any questions, please ask. There might be a slight delay. I don't know between. I'm looking at StreamYard. There might be a slight delay between here and YouTube. I don't know. You guys will have to maybe tell me, but I can see all of your questions here. Yeah. So, all right, so as you can see, maybe I'll use the black one, it'll show better. So I'm laying the original gun right over top of the white one, which is exactly this, okay? But it's got this, what we call flashing, which is the excess resin that is squished out from the sides when you sandwich the two halves together, right? And that flashing needs to come off. So if you make any kind of resin figures, like the one I just showed you, where is he? Where'd you go, buddy? There. So here's my Egum again, my Egum the Everyday Robot. When I took him out of the mold, there was flashing similar to this all the way around. You got to clean that up. If you guys are doing resin stuff, don't be a sloppy resin caster. I've ordered and seen, and I know there's guys out there who just, they don't take a lot of pride in their work, I guess, and they leave some of the flashing on. Clean it up. Make it as clean as you can, whether it's with the X-Acto knife or with sandpaper. Whatever you got to do, clean it up, okay? If you're making resin casts and you're selling them or even just giving them away, do the best you can do. Don't make them sloppy. So this stuff, these guns have a lot of flash around them, as you can tell. I know the white gets blown out, but there you can see it a little better. You can see the gun in there and all the flashing that's around it. I got to cut all that off. You can also see the air vent tubes right here that are sticking out. 1, 2, 3. There's also one at the barrel over here and one at the back stock of the gun. Okay, so ideally extra resin and air would shoot out through those vents, but because we're doing a slap mold on this, that's what we were doing. You're pressing it down so hard, the extra resin is gonna seep out on all sides. So, but when you're cutting the flash off, you got to be careful because some resin is very rigid, some is softer. This stuff is very rigid. So if I cut it wrong with my snips, it could crack the gun. So you want to go slow, careful. You want to make sure that you're not cutting too close at first to the object that you're cutting out of the flash. So I'm just going to start by taking little chunks here and there off, and then kind of like breaking it off, or sometimes it'll come off, it'll cooperate and come off like right against the strap there, that chunk did. So that's cool. Also, anybody, the chat's been quiet for a minute, so just let me know that you guys can still hear me. Charlie Gushy, if you're still in there, just give me a thumbs up or something, let me know. And as I clip away at this stuff, you'll start to see the shape of the gun emerge. You'll see it starting to emerge as we get rid of this flashing that's surrounding the thing. Still here, sweet. Thanks, Charlie. Just want to make sure. Well, Charlie, I know we're getting some wind over here in Chicago. I don't know what it's like by you guys, but it's very windy here. Trees are like slapping against my window. Also, another thing, like, so you notice the barrel is super thin on this gun, right? So if I clip too close, you run the risk of just busy opening up G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughterwood. If you clip too close, you run the risk of the pressure from the snips pressing through the resin and breaking off thin pieces like the barrel. So I'm just going to clip around this very carefully, and the close work will be done, like the tight work will be done with my X-Acto knife down there. So right now I'm just taking like the big chunks off. Let's see. Have you tried a one-piece silicone pour mold? Should be tighter with less flashing. You are correct. I have several of them up there. The problem with that is these are so small. The problem with a one-part mold is what you're talking about. These are so small, and like I said, the tips are and the backstock are so fragile that if I was gonna, you know, when you do a one-part mold, like I got one right here, I can show you. Hold on. So this is what Left Coast is talking about. This is a one-part mold. This one's a two-part mold because there's two parts. There's a one part because it's just one chunk. And this mold was actually given to me by my friend Craftsman. I don't know if you guys watch Craftsman, the Craftsman on YouTube. This is the original. This is the backpack for the original. The body is up there. I have the mold for the body as well. This is the backpack for the original free-range chicken. He sent me the mold. I got the body and the backpack. So one-part mold, pour the resin in at the top. When it's cured and ready to go, you slice it down the side in a zigzag formation, pry it open, pull the thing out, right? If I were to do that with this, there's a good chance that as I go to pull it out, it could break on the skinny parts. That's what I was worried about. Also, I was worried since I don't have a pressure pot. Let's see. Gotcha. I have only tried larger. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. You're not wrong. I was also worried if I did a one-part mold that the silicone wouldn't get down into these little crevices like this for the detail of the gun because I don't have a pressure pot. That's the advantage of this two-part slap mold. Put the second part on the top. Everything gets pressed to where it needs to go. Everything I do now, I think, is two-part molds just because I feel like you have more control over the air that's in it. That's the biggest advantage for me because I don't have a pressure pot. You know, I can see a lot of the bubbles beforehand and poke them and make sure they're going away. All right, so slowly clipping away at this gun. I want to make sure that I don't clip off any details that are actually part of the gun. So no loss of detail with the slap. Very minimal loss of detail. The other thing that helps with the slap, or with this mold in particular, is the kind of resin that was used here. So the resin for my EGUM that has all these holes in it, all these air bubbles. If I catch the angle right, you can see the dots. It looks like texture, almost like moving texture. Those are air bubbles. This is 65D, is the from Smooth On, and I usually like that. It's really good, usually really good resin, but I guess mine's too old. But it does cure very fast, and if resin cures too fast, you run the risk of trapping air bubbles in there, which is what happened here. And since I don't have a pressure pot to push them out, they stayed in the mold. So the resin that was used, that my friend Dan used on these, is a slower curing resin. I don't know the number. I think it's 305, I think is what he likes to use. And what it does is it cures slower, and it gives it more time for the bubbles to escape. And also, to your question, it gives it more time to seep into the crevice and creases and the details of the gun. So these are highly detailed. Like, I mean, if I put these two side by side, the black and whites, it might be hard to see, but you can see the details on the white one. They're pretty good. See there? And they match the, there's a good angle right there. They match the original black one pretty well. So that's the advantage of a slower curing resin. It can reach more places and give you that detail that you want. Let's see, where am I going to go next? It's like some kind of like, almost like a game where I'm going to flip away. So I got to be really careful on the barrel and the backstock. I'll take one more here. All right. Now I'm going in with my X-Acto knife. All right, so this is where you got to be extra careful for a couple reasons. I just put a new blade on this thing. It's super sharp, so it can slip very easily. And if it does, I run the risk of chopping something off on the gun that I don't want to, or chopping off a finger. So I got to be very careful when I, as I slip this thing in and around and through. But you'll be able to see that, in fact, I don't do a lot of pushing and slicing. I do a lot of like wiggling and wedging. That sounds weird, but you kind of come up with your own tactics, I guess, as far as how you attack this stuff. Just got to be very careful, and it's tough resin, so I feel like I'm totally gonna cut myself tonight. You guys might be in for a horror show. Speaking of, if you guys like horror movies, check out we just posted a new episode of my podcast, Death by Podcast, for vintage horror movies. We talk about VHS horror movies, vintage horror movies. This week we did, what was the movie? I forgot. What was the movie? Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. What a piece of work that movie was. It was a lot of fun, though. It was a great episode. The movie was, the worse the movies, the better the episode. There we go. So you guys can see how like meticulous you have to be, and how hard. I don't know if you can hear the resin, like as I'm squeaking into it. Looking forward to listening. Thank you, Charlie. Sometimes it helps to like score the resin, and then maybe you can peel it out. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get this backstock. Yikes. Stuff is tough. I'll probably just do a couple of these on the live stream, since, as you can tell, it's not the quickest process. But I want to make sure I get at least one good one done for you guys, so you can see, the final process here and what it takes to do quality work, which I'm sure all of you do. Is anybody else here who, let's see, Left Coast Graphics. So do you cast resin and stuff? Are you a fellow customizer? Anybody else out there a customizer? I know Charlie is an artist as well. All right, this is where it gets tricky because you don't want to put too much pressure on this barrel. Let's see. Also, make sure you got a what you call your self-healing cutting mat to use. Would it soften with hot water or hair dryer? Resin's tricky. Hot water, I don't think so. A hair dryer, possibly, but I have to use my hair dryer in the bathroom. Otherwise, it'll blow a fuse in the work area that I'm in right now, which is my living room slash work studio, because I'm in a studio apartment. So I have to make do with what I have. I actually got a brand new steak tonight. What? Josh Blum in the house. Let's see. I have Left Coast. I made a dozen or so Kenner Astromechs a few years back. Awesome. Steak tonight, Josh Blum. So Josh Blum, one of my very good friends, fellow podcaster, fellow 80s man. This stuff is way harder than I thought it would be. Here we go. But eventually you're going to see Nik Sant's gun start to appear. Mostly a model. Let's see, Chris Herndon. I hope I'm saying your name right, Chris. Mostly a modeler and painter, and just started customizing with casting. Awesome. Casting is fun, and it can be messy, and it can be sometimes a bit frustrating. Josh does a lot of resin casting. I used to, and I kind of stopped a little bit for lack of space and what you call supplies. It can get a little expensive sometimes. I also have a ton of other stuff that I do that needs to take priority, but I really like it. I like the fact that you can just like come up with an idea and make something into reality, like a drawing, and then you can sculpt it and make your resin casts of it. How am I liking StreamYard? I like it a lot. I mean, it can be a little confusing, and I haven't nailed it yet. But for this kind of thing that I'm doing right now, it's really cool because I can get my webcam on my computer, that one, and then this one is my cell phone. The only issue is the sound. You get that loop sometimes. So like I'm talking into my podcasting mic, and then I muted my phone, but I also had to plug in headphones on my phone. So to make sure that the sound wasn't looping, it's weird. I don't really know exactly. If I thought about it long enough, I could figure out the science behind it. But anyway, yeah, if you haven't done it, try it for like this kind of setting. Yeah, resin is fun, but messy. Harder to get resin in the past few years. It does take a fair amount of post-production, definitely. That was what I was saying earlier with these, like, all this flashing. Make sure you clean your flashing. Take pride in your work. There's a lot of guys out there that don't clean the flash off of their stuff, or at least like the best that they could do with it. All right, so here's like, this is a touchy spot. I might have to hold my breath. Hold on. All right, I got it. It's part of the scope of the gun. It's real thin. I gotta like get in there and stuff. Left Coast, I have actually done some work with Gentle Giant jumbo figures and some package artwork. They made some sculpts based on the drawings. That's awesome, man. I'd love to work for Gentle Giant. Put a good word in for me, man. I'd appreciate it. Yeah. Another one. Tight. It's a tight squeeze here. There we go. It's getting there. It's almost there. I'm gonna go for this guy. Let's see. I also don't want to snap the tip of my X-Acto, my new X-Acto. So it's got a brand new tip, and it's very, those things are very thin. I broke one off once when I was cutting stuff years ago. This was like 10 years ago. Snapped the tip off of the X-Acto knife. It flew into my eye, landed right at the bottom of my eyelid, and just like rested there on the eyelashes, and I could see it. And I at the time, my girlfriend at the time, I just yelled. I didn't move. I just yelled to her, told her what happened, and like she came running in with some tweezers, and like I had to like sit perfectly still, and she got it before it like went actually into my eye. It was such a nightmare. So as I'm cutting around here, if you get your X-Acto stuck in a crevice to crease, you could snap the tip off, and that could be a bad thing. Charlie Gushy, most I've done is some minor part swaps, customs. Primarily my creative energies goes into writing and drawing. This is true. I check out Charlie's Ronan Logan X. Check out his what you call YouTube channel, where he reviews toys. And then check out his Instagram, the same handle, Ronan Logan X, where he posts pictures of his awesome pup and his artwork, which is phenomenal. All right. Oh, I need to attack this barrel. I need to just get it done with. So skinny, so thin. Oh. All right. What else? Is anybody watching anything cool? It's Saturday night, so here I've always got on Saturday nights. I've always got my Svengoolie on MeTV, watching Svengoolie, and then all the shows that come after. So right now, Batman just ended, Batman 66, and then it goes to Star Trek, the classic Star Trek. And then after Star Trek is Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Left Coast, I'm getting interested in what resin printing is doing now. People are making cool stuff. They are. They really are. I haven't gotten into it myself. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm going to do here, but yeah, I haven't gotten into it just because of the chemicals, and I live in a small studio apartment. So, Josh Blum, I recently discovered the early '90s show Man and Machine, all episodes on YouTube. Great show. I've never heard of that. What is it? What is the show, Josh? All right, so I'm bracing the tip of the gun here on the edge of my mat. That's why you can't really see. I wonder if there's a better way to do that. Maybe I could use this. Is it sturdy enough? I need something that I can brace the barrel on because it's so thin. This is some tedious stuff, I tell you that. There we go. There we go. All right. So I wanted to originally, that's what I wanted to ask you guys. Does anybody know, let's see, Charlie Gushie, watched the Street Fighter 2 animated film tonight. In a little while, I'll be working on my watch through Power Rangers, still in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. Got a long way to go. That reminds me, man, I need to send you a picture of, what was I going to say before I did that? I don't even remember. I lost my train of thought. Not your fault, Charlie. So, resin printing. All right, which one am I going to say first? All right, Charlie, Power Rangers. About 20 years ago, a girl that I was dating painted me this amazing picture of Christopher Nolan's Batman, Batman Begins painting, like a giant 6 foot by 5 foot painting. And it was too big to bring with me into this apartment, so I gave it to my friend Nick, who owns Alley Cat Comics here in Chicago. And I told him, I said, man, it's an awesome painting. You can have it, put it up in your shop. I haven't seen it in 3 years since I gave it to him because it's been in his back room. The other day, one of the regulars comes into Oh Yeah Comics in Skokie, where my brother works, and shows me this picture of him, Jason David Frank, in the back room of Alley Cat Comics with my painting in the background behind them, like right behind them. And I was just like, it blew my mind. Of all times to see my painting again, it had Jason David Frank standing in front of it. That was pretty cool. Let's see. And I'll post a picture of it somewhere. You guys will see it. Right now, I finished opening Posing Sergeant Slaughter and now opening Cover Girl. Awesome. Josh Blum. It's about a futuristic society. This is Man and Machine. Futuristic society where a human detective is paired with a female cyborg as a partner, like a lighthearted CSI mixed with the Terminator. That's awesome. Who's in that? 90s? It sounds familiar. That's pretty cool. It is, man, Chris. It was hilarious to see. I did a double take, especially because this customer that comes in is a pretty unique fellow. It was the last thing I thought I would see that day. It was pretty funny. All right, we're in the home stretch on this piece. I want to get the details, so I'm getting the tip of the X-Acto knife into all of the little like curves and little like tiny places where the resin still is. There's always a way. Get that out of there. And if you notice, I'm leaving the big chunk here in the middle of the strap because I want to have something to hang on to while I'm doing this. So now I'm going to use the same method I did where I'm bracing it on this pink thing on this paper. I'm using that as like my cutting surface. I want to make sure that I'm not putting any pressure on the barrel while I'm doing this. Man, this is something else. Tell you what. All right. Boom. All right, there's that chunk. You gotta do the same on this side. Watch your fingers. Watch your fingers. Whew. Almost there. Wee. Go. All right, I think that was the last breath holder moment. Let's see. Man and Machine stars Yancey Butler from Hard Target as the cyborg and David Andrews as human detective. Yancey Butler. That sounds familiar. Chris. Oh, yeah, that's exactly who I pictured. Wait, where'd you go? What would a good comparison toy be for the feel of the resin used here? It's hard plastic. It's like ABS plastic, which would be, PVC is my Smurfs, soft, bendable, bendable gives as plastic that gives. This stuff is almost exactly like ABS, which would be, any hard plastic. So the hard plastic bodies of a Marvel Legends or a Black Series figure. It's usually the bodies of figures. Even Wolverine, that's ABS, hard plastic. It's almost exactly like that. Let's see. Fun fact, CoverGirl, one of my favorites because Gramps commanded a tank while he was serving in the Army. Awesome. Your Gramps is like the man. Wasn't she Witchblade in TV series? Yeah, that's exactly, man. And you know what else she was in? I just saw, that's who I was picturing when you said Yancey Butler. For some reason, it was like the laser beams were connecting. She's also in, for some reason I had on Lake Placid 3 or 4 the other day. And she was in it. And she got like eaten by a giant alligator or something, Is she a good actress? I don't know. Was Witchblade good? I don't know. It was a while ago. I feel like that series might be a little. I never watched it. It always just looked a little weird, like a little like I don't know, phoned in or something. I don't know. It's probably excellent, right? All right, what are we missing? We got that. We got that. We got to get close on this. So you can see I'm getting in here. And just kind of like shedding little bits, scraping off little bits as close as I can get to where I need to be. I need a drink of coffee. Some of my neighbors introduced me to oat milk. I just grew up drinking milk most of my life, but just kind of got sick of all the like snot it created. And so I stopped drinking milk for the last like, I don't know, stopped drinking milk, but I still eat ice cream, so figure that out. But like, it's pretty awesome, oat milk. Like, I don't know, I just like it. It's good. I like it better than almond milk. Almond milk just tastes like white water. It's weird. Almost there. There we go. There we go. Who else? This bit right there. Use, make sure. So you got to compare and contrast with the original sometimes, just to make sure you're not missing any spots. So, did anybody watch Witchblade? Is that any good? Tell me about it. Also, what's everybody eating tonight? I ran out of groceries because I ran out of money. So I'm gonna live vicariously through you guys. What are you eating? Saturday night, man. It's pizza night. Oh, get out of there. Good stuff. So close. Um, I wish they would make a show of the darkness. I think that was also like in the same Witchblade universe, right? Image Top Cow. I'm also a giant comic book nerd. For those of you who may also be, I wish they would make a darkness show. Jackie Estacado, like that would be awesome. Let's see. Fish and chips, man, that's awesome. I haven't had fish and chips in a long time. I had a backyard barbecue ranch burger from Dairy Queen's Grill and Show. Did you eat it at Dairy Queen, Charlie? I would love. I haven't been to Dairy Queen in probably 20 years. I would love to go to Dairy Queen. Let's see. Chris, did you make fish and chips? Left Coast frozen pizza could happen. Could happen. What's your go-to frozen pizza? I have yet to find one that's like one that I would repeat. I'm always trying new ones. All right, taking this big chunk out from the strap, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of work. What else? I vaguely remember playing a Darkness video game, and I wasn't. I want to say there was a Witchblade 1, 2 as well. Just ate a taco. One taco, Josh? One taco. Really? You ate one taco? I know from a local brewery. Okay. No, the lobby still closed since pandemic lockdown. Really? They never opened up again. It's crazy. All right, so I'm scoring this. This stuff is tough. Flip it over. Score it. Almost. It's almost there. Boom. 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 Wow. Look at that. How satisfying was that? Let's see where we at. I get these cheap square pizzas and add meat and mushrooms. Awesome. I always add extra pepperoni to my frozen pizzas. There's never enough pepperoni on frozen pizzas. Josh Blum, leftovers from what the kids did not eat earlier at dinner. This is life as a parent if you get this scratch. That's awesome. Why don't you just make yourself some? I don't know how to. If I had kids, I would make the kids food. I get that they got to eat first, I suppose, and then just make yours in the same batch. I don't know. Isn't that a thing? I know Joseph Fresh would not sacrifice his his tacos to the boys. Uh, No, he would, but he makes it. He makes sure he and his wife eat. You gotta eat, man, because I know how you love to live on that treadmill. So now I'm just getting rid of the excess, like, detailed flash around this strap here, making sure I don't slip or cut too deep. Slice the thing off or my finger. It's all in the details. Someone earlier asked about losing details or how the details were with the two-part mold, and like I showed and said, they're all here, but you got to make sure that you clear enough flash, like all the flash that needs to come off, so that the details can show. Very important. Oh, Josh, I talked to Jeremy today, your brother. Um, so me and Jeremy Blum, Josh's brother, both used to write. We both used to write uh, for CBR, Comic Book Resources. I don't know if Josh knows that his brother doesn't work there anymore. That might be news to Josh. I don't know. Well, the kids are in bed. I'm hungry from all the child rearing. But the fridge needs cleaned out too. Got scraps of this, bits of that, scavenger. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I hope I didn't just drop a news bomb on you by telling you that Jeremy doesn't work there anymore. Yeah, CBR is going through some shakeups, and sounds like there's a lot of karma going around. But it was good to hear from Jeremy. All right. How we looking? How we looking? He's been trying to quit that place for months. Okay, good. All right, so sharpen this up. Boom, boom. Looks good, looks good. Looks good. Let's get that. Get this. So there was one air bubble in the strap. You guys can maybe see right there where my thumb is pointing to it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of carve away a little bit at it just to even it out so that there isn't that much. So it's not terribly noticeable. And then obviously I'm not going to do all of these tonight. I'd be here all night. But once I am done with them, uh, when I am done with them, they will be painted black, just like the original one here. And packaged in with these Nik Sants that will also be painted and packaged up. And then, like I said, I will have these guys down. All right, so anyway, let me show this first. It turned out pretty good. Here's the one I had already done. Boom. Some details in there. And then the original black one. Pow. All right, so those are good. So like I said, let's see, Josh Blunt. Anyone remember Elios SB Pizza? I really liked it as a kid, but haven't eaten in years. Wonder what it tastes like as an adult. I've never heard of it. Elios. So as I mentioned earlier, I'll show you this too. These are all going to be painted. Paint the guns. Paint Nik Sant. Package them up like that. Look at that. Look how cool that is. You can see the gun on the side there, right there. And this is actually the first one I did. So it's like the prototype. And the gun is not that. The gun is a custom, like, kit bash, pieced together kind of deal. So one of them will be that. I might save that one for myself. I don't know. Here's the blank card. You can see that so the way this works is laser print out the sticker, stick it onto a cardboard. Here we go, Josh. Ready? So big sheet sticker, laser printed the image. And then I have a comic book backing card, right? Only magazine size. Sticker goes down on that. Cut it out with an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler. I've got a, well, cut it out with X-Acto knife, metal ruler. Then I've got, let's see, I don't know where it is. It's over on the other table. I've got the card punch for this, for the hanger bit. And then I've also got a corner rounder that goes clip, 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 rounds all the corners. And then the back is blank, but I'm going to be signing each one and putting one of my stickers on the back. Okay. And then obviously the figure will go in there once he's painted up. So it's a really nice piece. And I'm sure at some point somebody's going to 3D print them and blah, blah, blah. But they won't be as nice as mine. I guarantee you that. I sculpted the beard, all the details on all the Nik Sants, and they'll be hand painted. So these will be available, like I said, on my Patreon. First come on my Patreon. Whatever's left over goes on my Instagram. It's patreon.com/actoydesign. Also, Josh, since you asked about how did I make the cards, thank you for reminding me, because I made a video of how I make these cards, and I'm going to post that on the Patreon as well. Because it's for some work, kind of like top secret work that I did. It's not for these cards, but it's the exact same process. But it's kind of for some top secret work that I did that I cannot post on YouTube publicly because it's not mine really to post. But that video will be on Patreon as well. So look forward to that. Shows the whole process of how I made these. This is awesome. And my plan with these is to eventually make really, really nice, like short runs of really, really nice Star Wars, specifically Star Wars characters that did not get made for the vintage Kenner toy line. So quick little exclusive. Ready? Quick little exclusive. Here it comes. Boom. That's Biggs Darklighter. So that's going to be the next one after Nik Sant. And yeah, it's just a cool little project. Maybe people like it. Maybe it'll be DOA. But I like it. I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I've always liked that commando, the Rebel, the Endor Commando, Rebel Commando. It's a really, kind of a really underrated, well, kind of an underrated Kenner figure, you know? So, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out. That's been awesome. Anybody have any other questions before we call it a night? I would gladly, thank you, Chris, gladly answer any questions you guys have. So as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9 more of those to do. And I'm not going to bore you guys with all of that. That'd be like a 8-hour video or something. But we got I got the one tonight, 2 total. I'm going to save that one. But if there's any other questions, I'll gladly answer them before we sign off. Chris, Left Coast. I've made lots of cards. I make them for my Kenner pins. It's awesome. Left Coast, Chris, Josh, Charlie Gushy. Who else is up in here? Hey, thank you for being here, you guys. I love these live streams. I'm going to try to do like a proper video and then alternate weeks, proper video, live stream, and vice versa. Because I want to get more content on my channel, trying to get it monetized. So it's taking forever to do that. So if you guys have nothing else to watch, throw my videos on in the background. Thank you, Chris. All right, with that, I'm going to sign off. You guys be safe. Nice work. I'm planning to do some card making myself, so probably have some questions at some point. Anytime, Josh. And look for the video on the Patreon. I think that'll help a lot. I'll show you all the tools that I use and all that stuff. You guys be safe. Take care of each other. Help out the community, right? Your community, wherever you live. And what's the most important thing? Get some oats, right? All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Over here, over here. Where's the right, left? Over here. There we go. Thumbs up. You guys be safe. Have a good Saturday night. We'll see you soon. Cheers, y'all. Get some oats. What?